over the world. America was, no, I'm not saying it's okay, so why are you saying, oh?
Hey, man.
America was one of the first countries.
I want to like you so bad.
I'm trying to answer your question.
Smart. I want to like you so much.
I can't answer the
question. I want to hear y'all. I want to be able to hear them. I want to be able to hear them.
If I can't answer the question and you're just going to boo when I say slavery was all over the world, which is a fact, why are you booing a fact?
Because you're making light of.
No, I'm not.
You're making light
I
of
haven't
the
gotten into my points.
enslavement
I'm not
of
making
people that look like us. You can't make light of that. That ain't nothing you breeze
I
over.
haven't even finished the sentence. How am I making light of
You started
anything?
with some bullshit.
Okay.
LTTV, Blunt Talk with LT, back at it with another video. All right, now we tried this a few times and didn't go quite smoothly as we would like, but let's try this again. Let's get into it. All right, so Candace Owens goes in on T.I. via DJ Akademiks Off the Record podcast. So we have a bit of that to react to and a bit of the clip that she's referring to from the moment on the Revolt Summit on BET that we're going to react to. So we're going to get to that. T.I. did have an emotional reaction. He did not allow Candace Owens to get the words out. Candace Owens was saying a lot of things that we do here on or in the manosphere. Some of the subjects that we cover on this channel, some of the subjects we hear Tommy speak about, Tommy Sotomayor, that is, she was spitting a lot of facts. But they didn't want the words to come out. They were having an emotional response at that BET summit. That thing was a waste of time. That shit went nowhere. Complete waste of time. But let's get into this.
And I remember I saw the clip way before I saw the whole thing, and it was just like it was framed like, yo, T.I. checks, just checks Candace Owens because she was talking crazy. And really, it wasn't until I watched the whole thing I was like, to be honest, it was really two people on that stage making any sense.
Right.
It was you and Killer Mike,
right? Right. And that's the whole thing. They don't want black people to see the whole thing. They look for these stupid cultural moments like, oh, that's it. That's all we need is that 5 seconds because God forbid Black America hears what everybody in that room heard, by the way. When that panel concluded, so many people came up to me in the audience and were like, I've never heard you in full form. Why don't you do more stuff like this? Why don't, I actually agree with a lot of what you were saying because when you hear me in a longer form, then you go, oh, okay, actually I realize that the media keeps excerpting her and making her sound this way or that way. But why are they doing that is the bigger question. Why didn't they let that run in its entirety? Why weren't the headlines like Killer Mike and Candace, have an incredible discussion about Black America, father absence, and all of these topics? Why did we let this fool, who is the biggest, he is such a fraud. T.I. is just, I was just telling you before we started running, but that situation got me so angry because T.I. was the only person that I knew prior to stepping onto that stage. Kanye had introduced us, maybe the year prior. We had spoken on the phone for a lot of hours on the phone about what our opinions are politically.
Felt like he was trying to dunk on you a lot.
It was crazy because when I spoke to him on the phone, he was like, I agree with you on this. I agree with you on this. I mean, agreed on everything we talked about.
No debate.
No debate. The only
no pushback.
Now, this was a BET summit, not even a BET. Why am I saying BET? A Revolt summit. 2 years ago, Candace Owens was getting a lot of backlash over this time. T.I. wanted one of those gotcha moments. He was definitely trying to do some performance-based shit where he was like, you were spitting some bullshit. Like, he wasn't really trying to have a conversation at all. He was trying to shut her down and be a contrarian to everything she said. TG said, we knew T.I. suffered from small man syndrome. Well, that was something that was discussed on this channel when it came to his comedy career and the way he was interacting with Godfrey and others. Definitely acting like a small man. So let's get into this.
The only thing he says is like, I just can't get behind Trump, right? That was the only thing he ever said on the phone. I can't get behind Trump. Every other topic we talked about Black America, he agreed with. He was so kind. We got on stage and he turned into like a performer. Like he literally put on a performer. So I say now T.I. is a fraud. He's a very little man physically. Like kind. We got on stage and he turned into like a performer. Like he literally put on a performer. So I say now T.I. is a fraud. He's a very little man physically. Like
T.I. is a fraud. T.I. is a little man physically. This is what she's saying. These are her words.
And we got on stage and he turned into like a performer. Like he literally put on a performer. So I say now T.I. is a fraud. He's a very little man physically, like, and mentally he's a small man, because to do that for what? There was nothing but in that room. I was not jumping on stage being like, vote for Trump, right? I was not up there like, you got to be with Trump or against Trump. We were having a very real, honest discussion that Black America deserved to have on that stage, right? That they deserved to listen to and develop opinions. And he halted it by, acting like a goon.
Do you feel like you guys were like, I don't know, friends might be a stretch, but like if you guys were talking before, because I felt like he just met you that day.
Yeah.
And also I really felt like he just completely.
Now, we are going to review the footage of all the interactions between Candace Owens and T.I. during that summit to see if everything that she's saying is substantiated via footage, not just small clips, not small excerpts. We're going to watch the entire interaction between them, not the entire summit, because some of the shit that was said there was absolute bullshit. And quite frankly,
we don't care.
Let me tell you something.
We don't care.
Y'all, if y'all want to go back and see that on the Revolt channel, you can see it. But some of the shit some of these motherfuckers were saying on stage was absolutely asinine, a complete waste of time. They went up there to embarrass themselves with terrible ideas. But it is what it is. Let's get into it.
Completely hated everything you said.
Yeah, and he's a liar. He's a fraud and a liar. So, whenever I see headlines now about him and all the personal stuff he has going on, I'm like, I don't doubt anything, because anybody that can move like that, because to me, I don't care what your position is. If you are left and you believe what you say, I respect you for believing it, even if I disagree. He gets out there and says what he doesn't believe, right? And tries to create a moment, and he literally just became a performer on stage. Like, what does the crowd want? How can I get the crowd hyped up, even if I have to say stuff that I don't believe? That is so toxic for the Black community. That is so toxic.
I think that was also around the time where.
Now, from what I was witnessing from the portion that I watched from the summit, Candace Owens was saying some real shit that would be constructive to the community, helpful, and so was Killer Mike. But the rest of it,
there was many things that, I don't know if it's still happening now, but it was definitely shown in the media a lot where, incidents with Black men and like the police were happening. Like I would always see like a long caption that T.I. would just write out. And I was like, oh wow, like I think he's very interested at least in some of the political ramification of what's happening in the Black community. So I'm like, all right, maybe that's where he was angling to. I think, and it's been so interesting watching so many of those people who seemingly was trying to fight that fight. Now they've completely pivoted.
Right.
Like he's doing comedy now,
Yeah. Well,
not saying doesn't.
He's a joke. I mean, like he should be doing comedy. That is the correct space for him, because you're a joke. If you could spend hours and hours having a conversation, like it's just, I don't understand
Did you ever
people
talk
that
to him again?
No,
T.I.
I don't.
He seems like a cool guy.
He's not though. That's what I'm saying to you. He was a cool guy when I spoke to him and there were no cameras running. But if you're that inauthentic and that's how you live your life, I don't know how you sleep. You know what I mean? On the other hand, I didn't know Killer Mike from a hole in the wall. He has been the most authentic kind. Like we respectfully disagree on certain circumstances. He's so intelligent. We read all the same books. You will see him putting out different ideas. There are things I disagree with, but I can't not love Killer Mike. Like Killer Mike, honestly, I wish I could work with him in a bigger capacity, because I think that he is just the way he lives his life. It's positivity, it's love. He's got friends from all over, and he's authentic. And that's what matters most, is authenticity. The Black community is regularly being served the TIs. That's the problem, the TI.
now, what do I cover the most on this channel? I cover the absolute frauds perpetrating the fuckery, selling y'all a fucking dream all the time. People out here fronting, trying to finesse their way through shit. Girls sleazing motherfuckers with their cheating ways and belonging to the streets. We cover all of that shit. But we generally cover the complete fabrications and people selling a dream. Cover a lot of that shit. We break it down and we show exactly why they're selling a dream, why they're saying what they're saying is absolute cap. And we break down the facts of the situation, and whatever people feel comfortable with, we don't give a fuck about. Fuck your comfort. Fuck the emotions behind it. We're dealing with the facts here. Black Okage X says Candace Owens is a goof. She tries to act like she's for the Black community. Now, I don't know what her intentions are and if she actually supports Black community or whatnot. I don't know about that. But I'm just breaking down the things she says and the things that were discussed on that during that summit. So for the most part, She says a lot of helpful things that you hear. You know what? Let's just get into it. Let's get into it so you can hear for yourself.
And say whatever to you when a microphone is in their face, knowing fully well they don't live that way and they don't believe that.
Hold on.
Served the TIs. That's the problem. The TIs who will get out and say whatever to you when a microphone is in their face, knowing fully well they don't live that way and they don't believe that.
Yeah, I think.
All right, so to Black Hokage X, since you said Candace Owens is a goof and she tries to act like she's for the black community, I want you to call out whenever she says something that's absolute bullshit. Whenever she's perpetuating the fuckery and she's capping, or she's saying something that will be detrimental to the community, I would like to hear somebody call her out because I have not witnessed it throughout any of this speech. So if it's not in this, she said stuff in the past, great. But when it comes to this reaction, let's deal with what we see here.
I think T.I. has good intentions. I would hope. You know, from what you're describing there. No. From what you're describing there, I mean, like, I would be, if me and you communicated privately and like we talked about some of the same, you know, ideologies that either we might share or mine, and you're like, okay, that makes sense. Okay, I get it. And then we get on stage.
And I get up here and I'm like, yo, what you talking about, man?
Like, yo, you a sellout.
Let's be real, man. We opine for women like Candace Owens in our community. We're always talking about we want people to bring facts to the table, not speak emotionally, not react emotionally. We're talking about in these discussions, they're always talking about, oh, they want black women in their natural form, natural hair, natural X, Y, and Z. This is what we're getting, but niggas always want to shit on girls like this. I don't even get it. Like, personally, she's not my cup of tea, like, physically or attraction-wise, but I'm not going to hate on Candace Owens unless I'm particularly calling out some of the bullshit she's saying if she's perpetuating the fuckery.
I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, we just agreed.
We've been talking for months, yeah.
So you never talked to him after that?
No, I have such disdain for little men. I really do. And I'm not, I mean, like, he's a small man to me. Like, there's something, like, as a man, you don't do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'll just be like, no, I disagree with that. He literally got up and pretended like he had never heard these words before. They didn't know where I was coming from. I mean, it was wild.
I thought that would have put you off of a lot of conversations that would include and just be directed towards black culture, because a lot of it does happen to be performative.
It
like,
is.
If I'm having a conversation with someone, and I've done this on the podcast before, and I'm like, you know what? I'm actually thinking about, like, if the election was today, I might vote Trump, and it's like performative stuff happened. Yo, you were selling, like, the conversation just stops. It's not like, okay, let's really talk through this. It just stops.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I made a video when I was talking about Trump. I was talking about we need to bring back Trump because I was going in on Biden. All sorts of hate. I remember I made a video talking about Bernie Sanders with the fake hustle, and they're like, oh, you're a Trump supporter. All sorts of hate. My dislike bar was as fat as it's ever been. I've never been ratioed so much in a video when I spoke about and I pinpointed the fake hustle of Bernie Sanders, but people want to stand behind and support Bernie Sanders. This nigga's never going to do nothing for y'all. He's going to tell y'all everything y'all want to hear and never be able to do anything to help people. So I'm looking at that, I'm like, fake hustle. But when you get into your politics bag and you start telling people the truth, people react emotionally. All right, so Black Hokage X says, this whole interview is cap. I know a lot about her career and what she truly stands for. It's easy for someone to go on these platforms and sound like they're speaking the truth. That is true. It's very easy for people to cherry pick a subject and spit facts on one certain subject while perpetrating the fuckery in their entire career, their catalog. I don't know her entire catalog to speak on it. I'm only speaking on what I'm seeing here. I know some of her shit in the past. She said things that I disagree with, but she said a lot of things that I agree with. I don't think she's the devil, and the way people paint her to act like everything she's saying is so malicious and so detrimental to the community. I ain't having that. I'm not buying that. But let's get back into this, and then let's get into what was said in the summit, because there's a lot of contentious arguments during the summit, and it's a lot of emotional reactions to the things she said. They were coming for her. They were absolutely coming for her at that summit. They didn't want to hear anything she said. They were literally trying to contradict everything she said. They were trying to shoot back at everything. Although they knew a lot of the things that they heard from her. They heard from Farrakhan in the past. They heard from many speakers in the past in our community, but they just didn't want to accept it from her.
You know what I mean?
Towing the line because they're scared to lose followers. They're scared to be trashed in the comments. They're scared to lose a
Fuck that. I'm saying my opinion. Fuck whoever says whatever. We don't care.
We don't care.
Let me tell you.
We don't care.
Y'all aren't going to get an authentic opinion if I'm going to be scared of the response of what y'all say if you disagree. Because at the end of the day, y'all aren't going to agree with everything. It is what it is.
Platform, where do I go from here if I have an original thought? I just got to toe the line.
TG says, Candace is book smart. A lot of her conclusions are drawn from textbooks. She has no real world experience when it comes to black matters. She's very disconnected from the black community. She's almost like a Stacey Dash, but some of the things she says are rooted in logic. The textbook point about the book smart shit, definitely, she does act like she has no real world experience sometimes, but some of the things she says is logical. Let's get into the things she says before I just start, just pulling out things from random stuff. So let's get into this.
That what you're seeing is cowardice.
Has that ever been a situation for
Trash in the comments? They're scared to lose a platform. Where do I go from here if I have an original thought? I just got to toe the line. That what you're seeing is cowardice.
Has that ever been a situation for you where you're like, we've seen in some situations Twitter has silenced people or got them off the platform. They've been deplatformed.
What I'd love for each of you to do.
Now, the Twitter thing, people being deplatformed. I'm also going to do a reaction to Jordan Peterson, who has been deplatformed from Twitter. But there's a lot of weirdness going on with that because he initially voluntarily deleted his Twitter and said he didn't want the password back. And I covered that in one of my clips on Blunt Talk with LT, but we're going to get into that after. Let's get into what has been said in the summit. So Candace Owens went off on T.I. in that interview, said he was a coward and the way he acts is cowardly. He did performance-based things to get the crowd's reaction. He wasn't really bringing much to the table. Someone said, Relic says, disconnected. She grew up poor, living in a one-bedroom apartment.
What?
Okay, so growing up poor, living in a one-bedroom apartment means you're connected to the black community. So being connected to the black community means you grew up poor.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Your logic, not mine.
In less than 60 seconds, is state what you think is the single most important issue.
Y'all, I'm going to keep it a buck. I don't think she gives a fuck about the black community. From my opinion, I don't think she gives a fuck about the black community. I think she cares about Americans. I think she doesn't want America to become what Canada is becoming. Canada is becoming China. We're becoming a socialist country. I'm only trying to be in Toronto in the summers. The rest of the time, fuck it. Fuck it. Get the fuck out of this trash ass place. Whoa. But she cares about Americans. She cares about the livelihood of America and what the country is becoming. That's what I think. I don't think she cares specifically about the black community. That's what I get.
Facing us in this presidential election. Single most important issue facing us in this political election in 60 seconds.
Nigga,
and
turn
then
up
we're
your
gonna
mic,
open up
man.
and really
What
get
the
into this
fuck going on?
conversation. Steve.
What's happening? I think the most...
Hey, yo, y'all are dissing right now. I appreciate the support in the comments from the prior live stream I did. The one that was stuttering and failing, and I had to restart to make sure it was smooth for y'all. I made sure it was smooth for y'all. Y'all hit that goddamn like button. We trying to live in the algorithm. Hit the like button. There's no way we should have double the people watching as liking.
I gotta get security. I want this man out of my sight right here. Get him out of here. He's got no place in here. Get rid of him. Okay.
That's to all the ghost watchers. Hit that like button for me, y'all.
Whoa.
I'm going to annoy the show right now. I'm waiting. Y'all hit the goddamn like button. I'm pulling a Kevin Samuels out here.
Hell no. Trash ass nigga.
I'm using y'all logic. Y'all, she disconnected because she speak common sense.
What? What?
Let's get into this.
important thing, when I think about young people, when I think about 20, 30 years from now, And when I think about this election, I think about the intersection of climate change and the way that technology is going to change absolutely everything. In our lifetimes, what it means to be human is different. In 6 to 10 years, 50% of jobs that pay under $20 an hour are going to disappear. Everything's going to be different. I have a 3-year-old daughter. When I think about her future, when I think about when she's 18 years old, everything's going to be drastically different, and I want to see really, really epic, interesting conversations that are visionary and actually thinking about the future 15, 20 years from now, because I think that the next 3 years is when we really make a decision about which way that we go.
Thank you. Candace.
I would say the biggest issue this election cycle is that we're starting to hear the word socialism a lot in America. And it is something that I don't think people quite understand what it is. It's killed 100 million people in the last 100 years. If you look at countries like Venezuela, former USSR, and we have people that are making it sound good, which is how these countries tend to vote socialism into their countries before it completely destroys everything the country has.
Yep.
And I would say the second biggest thing for me is that I'm getting tired of the Democrat Party drumming up the same issues every 4 years, taking advantage of the black vote and doing absolutely nothing to fix our communities and expecting us to vote for them again.
All right.
Now, understand with her statement there. Her primary focus was the country, was Americans, was the identity of America. She ain't going for this socialism bullshit. She ain't trying to get hoodwinked like she sees what's going on with the Canadians. She don't want that. Secondary was the black vote getting finessed from the Democrats. Not a specific black issue. She's just trying to wake people up to what's going on for the country. Everybody else has specific black issues. So,
Tip.
So to me, I think the main, I'm gonna run down a list of things, but they all kind of coincide together. I think that homegrown terrorism and crazy white boys with AR-15 shooting up innocent people. I also think mass incarceration, the privatized prison industry, the militarization of the police and how they interact with the people in our communities, and police brutality. I think all of those things, although they seem separate, I think they coincide. I think they correlate.
Thank you. Mike?
now what T.I. said, he brought up the issues that are sensationalized by the media. The issues that aren't really the big issues that we really need to be dealing with. They're just the shit that's sensationalized by the media. Once one crazy shit happens, oh my God, we're so scared. Gun violence, these school shooters, blah, blah, blah. Oh my God, a nigga got killed by the police. Let's look at the numbers. Holy shit, all these white folks got killed by the police too? God damn, no one talking about these niggas? Oh, all these other niggas got killed by the police too. Oh, these niggas were strapped too. Oh, all these other problems, all right? It's not paramount. They're not primary issues. They're sensationalized by the media. Of course they're issues. No one wants to get gunned down by the police. No one wants to see another nigga getting gunned down by the police. I used to do so many videos reacting to that shit, and I'm just like, you know what? This is a waste of time. I'm just sensationalizing the bullshit and arbitrating the fuckery the same way the rest of the media is by pushing this bullshit constantly when we know there's no solution to this. It's just, we're kind of just crying to the media. And I'm like, I'm going to stop that a little bit unless we have a plan and something's going on with this to highlight the fuckery. When Trump was in office, Trump actually did a lot of things that were ignored, especially when it comes to these fucking executive orders to hold police accountable. Police were investigated and prosecuted by their own kind. So a lot of them were escaping accountability for a long time. Trump got in office, signed that executive order. Nobody cared. The black community was like,
we don't care.
Let me tell you, we don't care.
just an executive order. Everyone's talking about, oh, Obama should have freed X, Y, and Z when he was in office. Trump freed, he pardoned, what's his name? Kodak Black, Lil Wayne, black community.
We don't care.
Let me tell you, we don't care.
All that shit we sensationalized in the media, Trump actually dealt with, but we didn't give a fuck. Those were quick little bills that could actually alleviate and do something for the community. We didn't care. But Biden is signing all sorts of executive orders that are infringing on freedom and rights, the same way Justin Trudeau already fucked over the entire Canadian populace. But you know what? Let's get into this, man. There's a lot of issues to discuss here.
For me, directly speaking for and on the behalf of the African American community, because I think that when we talk about what's our important issues, a lot of times a lot of us try to cover broad ground. So I'm supporting Senator Sanders. If you want to know my broad ground answers, it's within his campaign, but from a very acute.
Now, I fucked with Killer Mike and a lot of things he says, but his support for Bernie Sanders needs to stop. He is the definition of fake hustle and hoodwinking.
And very where we are standpoints, African Americans have to be bigger part of the economic landscape of this country. We should be owners and not buyers. We should be a merchant class and not only consumers. We should have and we should use our political leverage power to leverage and broker government contracts on the behalf of us so that we have 15 Atlantas and not one Atlanta. You should be hunting, fishing, shooting, training, and focusing on self-reliance and not simply relying on the people you say to hate to take care of you.
Katrina?
So I would say that the biggest issue that Black Americans face is a severe lack of leadership.
All right. Black Hokage X, how is Bernie Sanders fake hustling? All right. Let's make this clear and apparent because I don't want to waste too much time on Bernie Sanders. I've spoken about this many times in the past. Bernie Sanders, it's like, okay, I have the solutions, right? I know what I need to do to implement the strategies to help Americans. I know who I need to go against, and I know who I need to call out on their fuckery. But I'm not going to do it. I'm going to sell the public a dream, but then I'm going to constantly cuck myself to the Democratic Party. I know they're fucking me over at all angles. They're rigging X, Y, and Z, but nope, I'm going to hail my support for them, and I'm always going to be some secondary coward in the background, not actually willing to do something. Bernie Sanders, for me, it's annoying for me to even say all this stuff because I'm not going to get into my entire factual bag of substantiating all my points, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to say these things and not have things to react to and show y'all to substantiate my point. So I'm going to have to do this at another time. But Bernie Sanders, come on, man. How old is Bernie Sanders now? When does he plan on getting into office? He doesn't. Okay, I'm going to have to reference something. Okay, brain's actually working. The Whoopi Goldberg thing. Whoopi Goldberg backed him into a corner. And he refused to say if he was actually going to continue to run or not. He was trying to steal. You know what? I can't even reference this point. I'm going to have to bring it up, and I'm going to have to. We're going to do this at another point. We're going to postpone the Bernie Sanders, but we're definitely going to break down how Bernie Sanders is a fake hustler.
Leadership. He speaks on behalf of young Black people. I'll speak on behalf of all the Black mothers out there because our children are extremely important, and no one seems to care. And I think that has to stop. And so I think right now we have an opportunity with a President Trump who has gone far and beyond any other previous administration to impact Black communities directly, Atlanta included. And I think that this lack of leadership in the Black community is what we face because Killer Mike just mentioned our political power. Well, guess what? That power is diminishing every time that they bring more illegal aliens into the country and make them voters.
Tamika?
I think that
Now, what this young lady said is akin to what Candace Owens ends up saying later, but they all try to shoot down everything Candace Owens says because it comes from Candace Owens.
It's the most critical issue of this time is the idea that this generation becomes comfortable with white supremacy being the law of the land and fascism in our government. I think that that is a very dangerous position for our people to be in, and I think that for young people to believe it is normal for white supremacy to be the law of the land is very scary because it therefore it stops our potential and our growth and what we see happening.
Now, does that affect the Asians? Does that affect the Asians who are outperforming everybody? Or is this a scapegoat for accountability? Let's get into it.
Right now is that white supremacy is actually winning. So I think that that's probably one of the most dangerous issues of our time.
We're not acquiescing to somebody else's agenda, but being clear about ours in the process of giving them our support.
Well, I would say the first thing is that it's important to identify what our agenda actually is. And I think that the most important thing for people in this room to understand is that there is a very small window. Right now, the black vote is the most important vote in the country. There's a very small window before our vote's not going to matter. These conferences won't matter, and us sitting here won't matter. Because illegal immigration, if you're looking at the numbers, every new birth in this country, 60% of all new births are Hispanic Americans, and the Democrats are about, listen, you're saying, let me get to the point. I'm going to tell you what's wrong with it.
You hear that though? He's having an emotional reaction, and he's constantly, throughout this summit, he throws her off her point and doesn't allow her to speak because everything she says makes him react emotionally and disrupt her point.
I say illegal is the new black because it's true, and there's a reason why they're advocating for open borders. Right now, our vote means a lot, but new births of black Americans have stagnated. The population growth within black America has stagnated. So the things that I pay attention to are the numbers. I pay attention to the birth rates in this country, which is why I'm pro putting something down to stop illegal immigration. The second thing that I think is really important, and you may have heard me testify in front of Congress, is the illiteracy rates that are facing black America. 75% of black boys in California can't pass a reading exam. Across Baltimore, they looked at 5 schools. They couldn't find a single black boy that was a single black child that could pass.
Yes, I'm glad that she said black child, because remember when I did that video talking about I wanted to disprove that point because there was an illogical point. The black boys are reading at the 4th grade reading level. And I'm like, how does it even make sense? Which black boys are this? So I tried to counteract that, and I did a video. I did a bunch of research breaking it down. Then I realized that black people, black children on a whole, not black boys, are underperforming in everything. Math, science, English, not just reading, and everything. It's pretty bad out there. It's pretty bad, according to the numbers and the statistics that are online.
A basic reading or a math exam. So I caught a lot of slack because I said this is the Democrat plantation.
That 4th grade reading level shit to this day is bullshit. It's bullshit. It doesn't even make sense logically, but the underperformance of black children is undeniable according to the stats.
But I meant what I said. If you look historically at what the plantations were when we were slaves, there were 3 things that were necessary for them to run. The first was our ignorance. Black Americans were not allowed to learn how to read unless we would have our limbs chopped off. And that was because an educated mind cannot be enslaved. So the fact that our schools are in this condition in the inner...
That's facts. An educated mind can't be enslaved. But most of y'all...
You stupid.
Get my legs up, y'all. Get my goddamn legs up.
Cities and all throughout America, and not a single candidate is talking about it, is problematic to me. I think that that's a huge negotiating tool for me. We need to be talking about the inner city schools. Another component, and this is the biggest issue that I think is facing black America today, which was important to maintaining the plantations, was the breakdown of family. The biggest issue facing black America is father absence. We have children that are growing up without their fathers in the home, and that is being incentivized by the government right now via the...
TG says, I think Candace cares about black people. From her message, it does seem like she understands a lot of the black issues, and she understands what is fucking us up as a people. And we speak about this all the time, the absence of the black father. We speak about this all the time on this platform. You hear about this shit in the manosphere. You hear it on Tommy Sotomayor's channel. He even had the movie he made about that shit. Like, a lot of things she says is in lockstep with the things that we say on this platform.
Facing black America is father absence. We have children that are growing up without their fathers in the home, and that is being incentivized.
Hold on. TG says her way may not be the best, but it's something. Where do we hear that? We hear that when it comes to Tommy Sotomayor's material. Oh, his delivery's too brash. He's too aggressive. He's too disrespectful, but he's spitting facts. We heard that about Kevin Samuels. Oh, the delivery, the tone was off, but everything he was saying was facts. And we had a bunch of people reacting emotionally. But now we have a black woman speaking the same things. And we have a black man reacting emotionally in TI. Because at this point in time, she was public enemy number 1, and they wanted to just have a gotcha moment. Everybody just wanted a gotcha moment.
by the government right now via the welfare system. When the government says we'll give you more money if you don't marry the father of your children, you are incentivizing bad behavior in our community. What happens when you remove a father from the home? This is why I do not mess with feminism at all. I'm not
Facts.
with it. This breakdown and mocking masculinity, making it seem like there's something wrong to be a man, all of this contributes to the breakdown of family.
Now, how can you argue with the things she's saying? And isn't that the number one hindrance of the progression of black people in black America? The absence of the black father, the removal of the black father in the home. It destroys families. We've been covering this for a while now. She's trying to bring awareness. Everything she's saying is fact. That is a top concern in the black community, but people don't want to deal with it because it holds the people accountable, not the government. The government's not no quick fix, do something, help our community. It's not a reparations talk. It's accountability. It's people being aware, being educated, and understanding what the fuck's going on. The great finesse that's in front of our face. It's our ability to be able to see that shit and be like,
If you don't get that bullshit out of my face, bitch.
we're keeping these parents in the households. We're not breaking up family for cheap ass welfare and lazy bitches to live off the government. We ain't doing that. And she has what has she said wrong? What has she said wrong?
And you remove at all. I'm not with it. This breakdown and mocking masculinity, making it seem like there's something wrong to be a man, all of this contributes to the breakdown of family. When you remove...
y'all. Hey, hold on. So, hold on, brother, hold on.
Somebody's triggered in the crowd, and it seems like it's a nigga, a grown-ass man triggered in the crowd from the thing she's saying.
Stop it. Get some help.
There's going to be an opportunity for each of you to engage, but I want to make sure this sister has the right to talk while she's here. That's why we invited her. So let her say what she needs to say, and then let's keep it moving. Come on, y'all.
The single motherhood rate in the 1960s in black America, and they thought that...
Now, hold on. I want to finish this. This is on your behalf. At a certain point, we can't be assholes.
Now, for the audience to be standing up and yelling shit and being triggered off of the things that she said, all she was doing was spitting facts, and people, because it's okay. TG says us as black people refuse to take accountability, so it's hard to digest her rhetoric. That's exactly why they were chanting what they were chanting in the crowd. They were triggered. They didn't want to take accountability for themselves. Okay, our problems, our solution says, let me read some of your comments. Candace goes against the narrative that we as black have to think alike, all alike. She's against playing victim. Facts. I'm against playing victim. Fuck all that shit. Fuck all that victimology. You hear Anton Daniels talking about the victim Olympics and shit like that. Like, we're pushing against that shit. But when Candace Owens says it's a problem, we're against it. Fuck it.
Crying to me, and I'm not having that.
Chronic Introvert says she understands what is fucking us up, but doesn't say who, and it's by design. Yo, it may be by design. The government's trying to fuck everybody. I don't think anybody knows. People want to look at our specific issues and be like, "Oh, we're the victims. They're coming for us."
Ain't nobody got time for that.
The government is a bisexual bitch. She fucking everybody. At least she's trying to. But the victims get caught and they get fucked and they cry. And other people see the finesse, see that, oh, it's not, oh, we're just trying to avoid the snakes in the jungle. It's, no, recognize you're in the jungle. There are going to be snakes. Deal with it. But people don't want that because that's too much accountability. All right, let's get back into this. I'm going to read some of your comments soon. I'm going to get back into what Chronic Introvert's saying, but we're going to get back into this because we have a lot to react to.
At a certain point, these are black men and women, and in particular, these are black women. On some real G shit. It doesn't matter how you feel about her personally. Everything she has just said, Louis Farrakhan said for the last 25 fucking years. So.
And nobody had a problem when Farrakhan was saying it. Actually, that's cap. There was people that had a problem, but
ain't nobody got time for that.
They weren't triggered the way they were triggered for Candace Owens. It wasn't black folks trying to cancel Farrakhan the way they're trying to get rid of Candace Owens. It wasn't the same.
And I don't know if she...
Don't quote me on that. I may be capping.
The fair cut. I know me and Tamika are. Bam. But you cannot take the truth and be mad at who tells it to you. So just chill, bruh. Shut the fuck up. Let her say it and receive the information. That's it.
This is some fake hustle. The same people that were yelling shit from the crowd are now cheering and standing up on some performance-based fuckery.
I apologize. I digress.
Thank you.
Mike, thank you so much for
I
saying
want,
what
I want you
was
to,
not
but I
gonna
want you
say.
to continue because I was listening.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've been turned into public enemy number one. I say the same thing when I hit every stage. The single motherhood rate in the black community in the 1960s, before Lyndon Baines Johnson started the Great Society Act, was 23%. At that time, that was considered very high. 23% of black people growing up without a father in the home. The single motherhood rate in the black community today is 74%. 74% of our children are growing up without a father in the home. It was Barack Obama, who I don't even really have anything for, who told you what happens when you remove a father from the home. You're 9 times more likely to end up in prison. You're 6 times more likely to drop out of high school, and you're 12 times more likely to lead a life of poverty. Why is nobody talking about father absence, and why do we keep being silenced when we actually do? This is what black conservatism is, by the way. It's really not. It's not that controversial.
So Tip, I'm gonna let you come in a second, but I want to make sure I get Katrina in here, and then we're gonna open this up a little bit, because at some point I hear all of this, but the issue is we still got to elect people and we still got to create power from the local level, state, and national. And so there's a plan that has to be at play for us to be able to deal with some of this stuff. So Katrina, I want to hear from you as you've been engaged in this current administration. What is it about this administration that makes you so confident that it has the ability to deliver what a black community that this president is often in opposition to can't?
Well, I think that's a great question. It leads to what I said was the biggest gap in the black community, and that is this vacuum of leadership. When I first met President Trump, and I had heard him years before he actually ran for office talk about certain things that I felt were really important to me as a black mother, not just as an American or as a voter. But what he has done since he's been elected is he's proven himself. He has given more money to HBCUs. He just eliminated $300 million of debt from hurricane relief from HBCUs, just gave them another $100 billion more, on top of what no one wants to talk about, like those at MSNBC and CNN, are opportunity zones. There are 9,000 opportunity zones that was established by the Trump administration, including probably 24 counties right here in Atlanta, in this state, in Fulton County, where he has put up hundreds of billions of dollars of investment into black communities. Not just impoverished communities, but black communities. And to me, you put your money where your mouth is. This president has done that. So what you should do, all the young people in the room, we've heard we don't have a voice. We hear disenfranchisement. Well, guess what? Who has been in charge of these communities for the last 4 to 5 decades?
Democrats.
Exactly.
So wait a minute, no, wait, because I'm loving where we're going. I'm loving where we're going. And I love the fact that, to me, promise zones sound a whole lot like empowerment zones from the Clintons. And neither party delivered on making sure that legitimate development took place in our communities. And so I'm interested, Tip, in you coming in, especially on this economic piece.
Sure.
How do we begin to really deal with that? Because the federal government creating zones has normally been the places where gentrification starts first.
Okay, that was my point. I had a question for both of you young ladies, and you and Candace, we spoke many times, and you're a brilliant young lady. But my question to you is, how is it that you can support yourself? I mean, that you can support and align with a constituency that will not denounce white supremacy? So that means your son or daughter, or any of your brothers or any of your family members, if they are caught out there by a policeman who is in a covert, undercover white supremacist and get gunned down, this constituency will have absolutely nothing to say about it.
Please let
So
me
how
answer
can
this
you
question.
support this?
Please
That's
let me
what I
answer
don't
this
understand.
question.
And we can't, and although what you're saying is a lot of the things that you're saying are absolutely factual, a lot of the things that you're saying have merit, but I can't even get to that before I address
I will address
the
it right now.
disregard
I'll address
for young
it right
black
now.
lives.
I love
and
it.
you will not
I love
speak
it.
up on it at all.
Love this question. I will
All
address
of the
it.
things
T.I.,
that you
I love
spoke
it.
on, from opportunity zones.
I love that
to-
we're talking about white supremacy.
Okay,
I'll
excuse
answer
me.
the question.
I say, excuse me. I didn't interrupt you. If I may.
Now that was a sleaze tactic. You ask her a question, and then you continue making more comments on top of it. So it's like she's ready to answer the question, so she starts speaking, but you're still making comments on top of your question. So she tried to interrupt, I get it, but you set her up for that, T.I. That was a slick move.
You talking about opportunity zones, and I will never have anything negative to say about the financial benefits, the tax breaks that come from the Republican Party. I'm a rich person, and
You
I
white folk
appreciate.
rich.
You dig what I'm saying?
I'm Negro rich.
Hey, listen. I appreciate all of the different tax breaks and the opportunity zone benefit, but
It's
what
called
we
a crooked clock is right twice
whatever,
a day.
you're
That's
right,
what it's
right.
Isn't it a broken clock is right twice a day? But let's get into this.
I get that, but what we must understand when we're talking about opportunity zone, and we're giving the credit to the person who pushed that legislation forward, which it started with Tim Scott, a black man who happens to be a Republican out of South Carolina. That's who wrote the legislation and presented it. However, the present president, if you can call him that, he did allow it to go through, but that. In order to benefit from opportunity zones, you have to have capital gains taxes. It ain't many black people in these opportunity zones
But they
that
have
have
jobs.
capital gains taxes.
Wait, what?
To be able to reap the benefits of these things. Therefore, it will be billionaire corporations, other people who ain't from these communities, coming in here building shit that we don't need, doing shit that don't help us, but they do that so they can shelter their taxes. Now, I've been investing in opportunity zones all my motherfucking life. You know what I'm saying? So I'll be damned if anybody gonna benefit from it, and it ain't gonna be me. So, but I actually know the need of the community.
What? All right. Perfect example. Right in front of y'all right there. The man said, I hope y'all heard this. He invests in these opportunity zones. He was talking about benefiting. Oh, I'm so happy to be benefiting from these. And then now he's outraged that, the general population, the rest of y'all niggas ain't benefiting off of it. So he's making it seem like he's mad at it. Oh, this is a big point of matter of contention for me, but I'm benefiting off of it. So I'm happy about it. So Republicans, keep doing your thing, but I'm going to act like I'm like, what? Hold on, y'all. Did y'all catch that?
Doing shit that don't help us, but they do that so they can shelter their taxes. Now, I've been investing in opportunity zones all my motherfucking life. You know what I'm saying? So I'll be damned if anybody gonna benefit from it, and it ain't gonna be me. So, but I actually know the need of the community. You have these systems in place, but the people who have the most the most ability to take advantage, and who are readily able to take advantage, are the people who have absolutely no genuine interest to do anything to support this community that they're coming into. There's no real tangible investment. They're just doing it to shelter their tax dollars.
So thank you, Tip. Well, hold on, Katrina. I want Candace to talk about your first point, and then Katrina, you respond to the second point.
All right, so to tackle the white supremacy thing, your question was a fallacy because you said you insinuated that he has not denounced white supremacy.
He hasn't.
Somebody please, go to his Twitter feed right now. Right now,
He
go
said,
back to
"Who
the
is the
shooting.
KKK?"
Yo, I'm still recovering from that. I don't know what the fuck T.I. was thinking he was saying, but...
What?
Wow. I lost brain cells.
KKK.
He said, no, because we got to tell the truth. I do
said,
not
who
stop.
is the
Don't
KKK?
now you're cutting me off, right? There we go. Now we're even.
What he said was that.
So listen.
What he said was that there was good.
No.
on both
Let me
sides
finish.
of white
Stop.
supremacy. That's what
Because
he
you guys
said.
are so
That's
hung
not what he
up
said.
on
That's not what
Charlottesville,
he said.
and nobody heard the entire clip. I want to talk about why we get manipulated. I'm being serious, guys. I'm not even trying to make this like a contentious moment, because this is literally why Black America loses right here. Because we
we're
allow
stupid?
people with cameras to go hear a whole speech, like they do this to me all the time. They take out a couple of sentences you said, and they create a whole new headline. And people that were not there get incensed and get emotional and don't actually go back to hear what was actually said in full context. They do it to me all the time. I know they do it to Trump. He has denounced white supremacy so many times. It's something north, somebody counted, of 24 times, and it's on his Twitter feed. So if you want to fact check me, go back to a couple of weeks ago when the shootings happened. He said, America is no place for white nationalism and white supremacy, and it's an issue that has to be tackled. I'm paraphrasing. You can go find it.
Oh,
Go
he
watch that
calls
first.
himself
Secondly,
a nationalist?
he
calls
secondly,
himself a nationalist?
Stop. You
Hold
can
on.
fact check me. I'm either lying to your face. You can go on Twitter right now. You can do it live.
Now, y'all can notice she's the only person that's constantly interrupted when she's trying to get her points across. They don't even want to hear the words out of her mouth.
Secondly, you want us to believe the first thing he says or what he says after the media comes after
No,
him?
I'm talking about
because the first thing he said was that there
Tamika,
was.
you're asking a different question than T.I. did. T.I.
Okay.
said, how can you work with an administration that has never denounced white supremacy? You're talking about
I'm
Charlottesville?
talking about talking points that come out later. But what he starts with is racism. That's what comes out his mouth when he starts.
See?
We
And let me
can
tell
look
you
at how
something.
many mass
And let me
shootings by
tell
white
you, and let me
supremacists
tell
have-
you why the black vote is the easiest vote for Democrats to keep for the last 60 years. All they have to do to get our vote, let me tell you something. If people know what you fear, you are the easiest person to control. The Democrats have figured out that Black America is emotionally responsive to the word racism. Just racism, you jump up and you start cheering. You haven't even listened to what I've said to rebut it, okay?
Cheer. But it's the
100%. The biggest issue. Let me finish. The biggest issue facing Black America is not white supremacy. When Trump said there were good people on both sides, he was talking about the fact that some people that were in the Charlottesville rally, and he could have paraphrased that better, he could have said something better, literally came there because they don't believe that statues should be torn down, okay? Other people came there because they were upset that amongst the people that came there to watch the statue be torn down were also white nationalists. So what he meant was there were some people that were just there using their First Amendment right. There were some people that were there to respond to the white nationalists, and a big mess happened. I'm not trying to defend him or relitigate a situation. I'm saying that being hung up on that is allowing you to not look at an administration that is tackling so many issues in Black America right now. I do not consider myself a Republican.
Perfect.
I definitely am not a Democrat, but Trump woke me up. I used to be liberal. Trump woke me up to the idea that we're being manipulated by the word racism every 4 years.
So wait.
Every 4 years. They call
hold on.
everybody racist.
All right. We're gonna get into this because what I'm concerned about is how is that any different than the fear that Trump has created in poor whites? The fear that Trump has lifted in poor whites, that black people and poor urban people are their problem.
Right.
When did Trump ever say that? That's a fallacy. When did Trump ever say black people are the
Make
problem?
America great again. That's when he said it.
Guys,
but I'm not on the panel, so I want to make
Ronald
sure.
Reagan's slogan.
But do you see how everything he says proves her point and solidifies her point? When did he say that? When did he say that, right? And then he says, make America great again. Because it's code, right? But we have such an emotional response to these things. Make America great again could mean anything. It's a very arbitrary statement. But when it comes to fear of racism and everything's racist and oh my God, we're on high alert, emotional response.
Was that racist when Ronald Reagan had it as a slogan?
Yes, what time?
It was.
Yes, let me ask you.
So that
please
slogan
answer
is
this.
racist.
Please answer this. I have a question.
So-
I have a question.
so wait,
please,
Tip,
please just
Tip,
allow me
before
just one outburst. Please, I have a question. When you say make America great again, which period are we talking about? The period when women couldn't vote? The period when we were hanging from trees?
I'll answer.
Or like the crack era? Which period in America are you trying to make America like again?
Shortly after the Civil War, when everything was much better and black statistics were all great, like the ones that she referenced earlier, but she kind of has a tough time during this question because she kind of does get badgered. Let's get into it.
I think that I would totally rock a hat right now that said "Make Black America Great Again" because Black America.
Make America.
Before,
We're talking about Make America. That wasn't the question.
I am answering your question.
Which period was America great that we're trying to replicate? Which
Just
era
a little bit
was
after the
it?
Civil War.
Tell me.
Was it like 10 years after that?
Answer your question.
Tell me.
I'm ready to answer your question.
Which era was it?
What?
Which era was so great?
Here's the thing that you guys are forgetting. America was actually one of the slavery was all over the world. All over the world. America was. I'm not saying it's okay. So why are you saying oh?
Hey man.
America was one of the first countries.
I want to like you so bad.
I'm trying to answer your question.
Smart. I want to like you so much.
I can't answer the
I want to
question.
hear y'all. I want to be able to hear them. I want to be able to hear them.
If I can't answer the question and you're just going to boo when I say slavery was all over the world, which is a fact, why are you booing a fact?
Because you're making light of.
No, I'm not.
You're making light
I
of
haven't
the
gotten into my points.
enslavement
I'm not
of
making
people that look like us. You.
Emotional reaction. You're making light of enslavement? When did she do that?
Man, sit your dumb ass down.
Oh, this nigga's already sitting. My bad. All right, but our problems, our solution says maybe Trump's slogan should have been "Make America Weak Again." Blacks will get behind that slogan. That's crazy.
Can't make light of that. That ain't nothing you
I haven't
breeze
even
over.
finished the sentence. How am I making
You
light of
started
anything?
with some bullshit.
Okay.
So, Candace.
And that was the moment she was talking about during the Akademiks interview that pissed her off because she felt like he was being performative.
Candace, hold on, wait.
We can be emotional, we can boo, you can cheer, but I'm telling you right now, the black vote is not going to matter after the next about 5 years if you don't start paying attention to what I'm saying to you. Because I'm trying to tell you guys the truth. The absolute truth about what is happening in Black America. You are being used, abused, and lied to and manipulated emotionally by the Democrat Party. That is what I am here to tell you. You want to keep uprising and talking about racism when they're taking our fathers out of the home, when they're making
welfare. You said that already.
No.
We got you.
Because we're seeing it happen right here. Right here. I'm telling you it, and you're being responsive because I can't finish a sentence about what I was going to say about slavery.
Katrina.
Everyone in totality
disagrees.
with
some bullshit. Oh, and that's culture, man. That's not intellectual. That's culture.
I need you to come in. I need you to come in because this point is dead. And so I want us to talk about this issue of money and who's coming into the community and what that money means for the community.
I mean, this is really a lot to unpack. First, there's a lot of things that need to be clarified. First, you don't need to fact check Candace or anybody else on what Trump actually said. Call Jake Tapper at CNN because he already fact checked it and said he was pulled out of context. So it's already been fact checked in the media, number one. Number two, oh my God, I think hundreds, if not thousands by now, of young Black men will be going home for Christmas because of criminal justice reform put in place by President Donald J. Trump. That impacts the Black community.
Why is nobody applauding that? Like,
in a major way.
Absolutely.
I mean, like the three
People
strikes
are
rule
being
done by the
released from
Democrats.
prison
Trump
who
reversed
have been given harsh sentences. People have been in there for far too long. And you know how that happened? Because Black people who are woke went to the Oval Office and said, how can we help Black America? President Trump says, whatever I can do, I'll do it. You want your basketball players coming back from China? I'll help you with that. You want ASAP Rocky? I'll make that phone call. Come.
I forgot about the ASAP Rocky thing when I was mentioning the Kodak Black, Lil Wayne. And then she talked about the basketball players from China. That's in reference to LiAngelo Ball. But I remember LeVar Ball said he actually had nothing to do with that and he just took the credit for it. But I don't know about that.
Hell out of here, the table. He is willing to help. T.I., look.
Man. See, that's what I'm saying. You just did it. You just did it. And if you listen to a person talk long enough, they will reveal themselves to you. You just did it. You just did it. You just did it. You just showed that what they did was they manipulated Black people by thinking that if we don't get this person out of jail, that you'll think I'm cool with you.
You
it
come
was an
to the
opportunity.
President of the United
Baby, I am
States.
from the
It's funny because that's what niggas ask for. Niggas have been asking for this type of shit. Oh, we get a black president, he's gonna free all the niggas.
Ghetto, I have been peeping game for a long time. I
Then
know
you
when
should
shit
know
ain't
better.
right.
Then you should know
I
better.
know when shit ain't
This
right.
is why you should know
Trump
better.
is
See,
damned
how
if he
many
does and damned if he
jobs-
doesn't.
how many-
Facts. Damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. Because the requests from the community to get all these niggas out of jail are dumb as fuck. These are our biggest requests from the federal government. But they did it. They did it. And it's, you idiot. Why would you do that? It's like, this is what you asked for.
I agree with the criminal justice. I do agree.
Jobs are
I
created.
agree.
Dre Samuel says LeVar refused to thank Trump because he didn't know if Trump actually helped. Yeah, he said that. He didn't know if he actually didn't. He was unaware of his actual involvement because there was nothing that, stamped down like this was like he doesn't know. So why would he thank somebody when he did work and his legal team did stuff and he doesn't really know? So I get LeVar's point in not thanking Trump for the help that he allegedly got for LiAngelo Ball in China.
With the criminal justice reform, he has done great things.
You invest in
but
opportunity
it's all
zones.
it's from an opportunist perspective.
Oh, okay.
No, wait. I want
Trump
Mike.
helps, he's not
Candace,
racist.
hold on a
If he
second.
doesn't help, he's a
I want
racist.
Mike to come in on this. I want Mike to come
Such
on this.
crap, man. If Trump helps,
Wait. Y'all remember what T.I. said about opportunity zones earlier? What did he just say?
Opportunist perspective.
Oh, okay.
No, wait.
I agree with the criminal justice reform. He has done great things.
You invest in
but
opportunity
it's all
zones.
it's from an opportunist perspective.
Oh, okay.
No, wait. I want
Trump
Mike.
helps, he's not
Candace,
racist.
hold on a
If he
second.
doesn't help, he's a
I want
racist.
Mike to come in on this. I want Mike to come
Such
on this.
crap, man. If Trump helps, he's an opportunist. If he doesn't help, he's a racist.
Mike, I want you to come
ridiculous.
on this.
There's
and
no
then I wanna
winning
hear-
here.
Well, he's an opportunist and a racist.
Oh, at the same exact time. So damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. You want to know why we can't have progress?
This
Damned
is
if he
why.
does, damned
This
if he
is
doesn't.
why black.
Great point right here. Crazy thing is, when he got ASAP out, we were mad. Britney in Russia and nobody going in on Biden. Do you know? All right, let me break some fourth walls for y'all when it comes to the media. Do you know? And this is out of Stephen A's mouth, verbatim. Nah, I can't say verbatim. I'm paraphrasing, but close enough. Stephen A said that the reason why they were not covering the Britney Griner shit on ESPN Daily is because they got told from the higher ups not to.
What?
He said on air when speaking to Angela Rye, the reason why they were not speaking and making it a bigger story because the higher ups told them not to. Why? Because if it blows up in the media as a bigger story, Biden is held accountable for not doing anything, because it's to the point where it's trade citizen for citizen. The trial means nothing. If she actually did what they're alleging she did, that means nothing. That's completely irrelevant. They're at the point where they're trying to take her as a hostage for a Russian citizen that we have incarcerated. That's what it comes down to. And they don't want the bidding power to be so high for Britney Griner to the point where they have to get a Russian that is, somebody that they want to keep on their soils. Like, it's a tricky political situation, but it's fucked up. And she's just a pawn in this situation.
Black America.
Our problems, our solution says because it will make her current administration look like shit. It will. Because people will be like, what's going on? Do the deal already. Like, get your citizen back. Prioritize your citizens. But they're not. They are not.
And not move forward.
Exactly right, man.
Because you have somebody willing to put
that's
in
another
place.
lie.
No,
That's another lie. Black America has been moving forward
No, it
generation
hasn't.
by generation.
How is that so? How is that so?
There's
No, it
more
hasn't.
self-sufficient
No, it
black
hasn't.
people. This forum was brought to you by a black man.
Listen.
You understand that?
And it was happening before Trump
you ain't gonna
became
let you tell
president.
my children black people ain't moving
We
forward.
have been declining since the 1960s in every major statistic. We are not moving forward. Do not let him tell you that lie.
Wait. Hold on, Katrina.
Are your kids in public?
When we look at the marriage rates in the 60s till now, and we're doing better now, that's a total fabrication.
The lie detector test determined that was a lie.
We are doing substantially worse.
Mike has been sitting here listening to all of y'all talk. Mike, go ahead, brother. Brother, go ahead.
Niggas.
Go ahead.
Niggas. Niggas. Nigga. Stop it. Stop. Everybody hush. Hush and listen. Because I'm about to give you the secret to what the fuck y'all are witnessing. What you niggas, N-E-G-U-S, of the royal kind, and niggas, N-I-double-G-S, what y'all are seeing right now are free people arguing over who got the best master. Oh yeah. So, we're going to go back to silent. Let's register this shit back down. We're going to lock this back down. So, I'll tell you when America was great. 7 years after the ending of the Civil War.
Exactly what
Hold, Candace, because you didn't give the comment, so you weren't prepared for that one.
7 years after the Civil War. Listen, I'm not great at history. History was a weak suit for me. Shout out to Killer Mike for having the facts on deck.
That's not to jump on Candace, because again, I'm disagreeing with my friend. 7 years after the end of Civil War, blacks within 7 to 15 years accumulated over 15 million acres of land. Hold on, before we get to clapping, because the niggas bought some shit. Black people were the only skilled labor in there. So if it was welding to be done, iron bending, cotton picking, it was black people. So instantly, your value became more. And Candace has a point. The point that she made about illegal immigration affecting you is that it's going to affect you at some point. Why? If the Kegel Chicken Factory is hiring illegal immigrants at an undercut on the rate, it affects the black people who live there who should be demanding $20 an hour because they're being undercut. So when they get wiped out, they have to hire blacks, pay them, and unionize. So she's right on that. But hold the fuck on, I'm not finished. You have to remember that people who look like you immigrate too. So before you widely say, fuck them all, remember, America is always going to have a slave class. And if illegal immigrants or legal immigrants will not be the lowest paid workers, those in prison will be, and that always ends up looking like one of their sons. So it circles back around. So that's why people who are black, who are from two different plantations, got to get the fuck away from massa long enough to say, how are we going to burn down both their fucking houses? Now, this is my thought. I don't care if you destroy the Republican or Democratic Party, because at one time, blacks were Republicans. And you dominated those 7 years after the Civil War. You were Republicans. You had more blacks in the House and Senate than you do now, and you dominated your own economic and communities. You did that as Republicans. As Democrats, you did the same in cities like Atlanta. You failed in other cities. But the most important thing is self-organizing. By the time we get to a candidate, we should have a list that says white man, white woman, these are our demands. You can meet them and get our vote, or not, and we're going to stay home and crochet and make collard greens. But what you cannot do is continue to argue over who is the best master. I don't give a fuck if it's Trump, Obama, your mama, my mama. What the fuck do you have for me and my community? Now, if you do not, and if you stop playing, oh, I'm going to say the snazziest shit to each other on stage, I'm going to show that motherfucker this is going to be a quotable, and we close up the doors, and we simply say, how do we take the good of what you have, the good of what you have, the good of what you have and you have, how do we shape it into a 10-point agenda to present to every local, state, and national politician? If you cannot meet points on our agenda, we simply can't support you. I like you. I love your casinos, Mr. Trump. I like you, Bernie. I like maple syrup that comes from Vermont. but what do you have for us? Now, when talking about have black people done better, we keep doing better and we keep getting knocked down. We keep doing better and we keep doing knocked down. So I'm going to tell people, this is your homework. Fuck trying to convince you. I want you to go home tonight. I want you to listen to Thomas Sowell. I want you to listen to, hold on, I got you coming. You, look, my nigga. All right? So, I want you to listen to Walter E. Williams.
Yes.
I want you to listen to Antonio Moore. I want you to listen to Yvette Carnell. I want you to listen to the economic strategy of Elijah Muhammad and Marcus Garvey. I want you to listen to the political strategy of Stokely Carmichael. I need you to get on your study and prove yourself worthy shit, because I'm tired of arguing who got the best master. You are already free. Now, nigga, act like it. Do your research. Do your research and decide what's best for you.
Yep, that's the most important thing here. Do your research and decide what's best for you. The media is absolute bullshit. I hope y'all know the media is absolute bullshit. A lot of this shit is entertainment, or a lot of this shit is just view chasing. A lot of this shit is print the most sensationalized headline and the most clickbait thumbnail or some shit, and let's get these views. Let's push this agenda so we can keep rolling over the snowball effect with this agenda and have consistent talking points about a specific agenda to get people riled up so we can get these views.
We're in a different era. Get over it. Whoa!
It's all bullshit. If you're learning from the media, you're losing. Take your entertainment and take whatever bits and pieces you want from it. But for the most part, it's bullshit. You're getting finessed. If you're not independently doing your own research and studying, you lost. You're taking L's. You're misinformed. You're uninformed. You're getting finessed. You're stepping into the great genjutsu of the media, and you're feeding right into it.
Because what's best for us in Atlanta was a black man who said, okay, I'm the mayor now. You want to do business with Atlanta, meaning you want to have an opportunity zone. 29% of all government contracts had to be attached to black people. When he found out that there were no black architectural firms, he said, black people build driveways, we can build airport runways. So he gave the white architectural firms the rights to build the airport. The fucking Herman Russell Company laid the plane. So my thing is, as black people, how are we going to get in a room together, stop fighting over who's master, decide what our agenda is and how to leverage it? I don't care who agrees with Cap or JD or Jay-Z. I cared that black people as a whole showed up to work that day. What if nobody would have showed up to work? What if everybody said, you know what, fuck it, my nigga? What if everybody on the same day would have done that? If everybody, every policeman, every beer salesman, every car parker, every NFL analyst would have not showed up. Until we ready to do that, we're not serious about being free.
That's real.
You just here to see a show and argue over who got the best master. Until we decide what is the real breaking point. If blacks are 15% of this nation, we should be 15% of Wall Street. We should be 15% of music execs, 15% of Hollywood execs, 15% of governors, 15% of mayors. And until you hit that 15%, you're failing,
That's facts.
failing, fucking failing, no matter who your master is. So pick a better master. I say kill your masters and get your own shit.
Yeah. We know that there's going to be redistricting.
All right, so I think I fast forward into another part where Candace Owens and T.I. clash. So I skipped a bit of this summit to get into another part. Hold on, y'all. Close this fucking window. What the fuck these niggas doing out here? That's so fucking loud, yo. Holy. Okay, where were we at? Let me read some of these comments. What's going on here? Our problems, our solution, says we low-key still are conservative. Our views line up more with those than liberalism. Liberals love playing victim and crying about shit. That is facts. Oh, y'all can't hear it? Oh, I heard that shit loud, but it is what it is. Yeah, let's just get back into this. Read these comments after.
That happens next year.
It's going to be what?
And on the other side, redistricting, that's based on the census that happens next year. Black folks are already being tricked about showing up, not showing up, giving information to census counters, not doing it, how we're engaged in that process. So before we open this up, because we've talked about a number of things, I want to know how important, especially around this issue of gerrymandering, is the census, and what do we need to be talking about, because this gerrymandering piece is the party piece. So I'd love to hear, Candace, from you on this issue of redistricting and the census. And then, Tip, I'd love to hear from you, and then I want to open the floor to you all to be able to engage this panel.
Well, I'm going to bring it back to what I said earlier. I think if you want to talk about a foreign threat to our election process, we shouldn't be talking about Russia. We should be talking about illegal immigration, because the census, let me finish my thought, the census that is conducted, they don't ask if you're a U.S. citizen. So when they figure out the districts and how many votes you get electorally, they're including illegal immigrants that are not American citizens. So
Candace,
people are giving more electoral votes.
Despite what's wrong with it, it's going to happen, correct?
Well, no.
Now, this is annoying because she couldn't finish her point without this nigga interrupting.
How many votes you get electorally, they're including illegal immigrants that are not American citizens. So
Candace,
people are giving more electoral votes.
Despite what's wrong with it, it's going to happen, correct?
Well, no, actually, there's a great organization called Judicial Watch run by Tom Fitton, and they're fighting it.
But as of now, it is going to happen.
Well, no, what I'm saying is that...
As of now, the census is going to happen. There has not yet been a law change that is going to change it.
Yeah, that's correct.
And if it does happen, which is scheduled to, it is going to impact people in here that look like this based on redistricting, correct?
It impacts everybody. It's not just black people.
We are talking to this audience.
No, I know. I'm just making... I want to be as clear, because... Not everything, and gerrymandering would be one thing, is a black or white issue. This is not something that's a black or white issue. It's an American issue. And
All right, I gotta address this point. Chronic Introvert says, kill the masters, but not calling out who the masters are is pointless. Who controls the money? Who funds the red and blue? Who does the president answer to? Now, when it comes to the kill the masters and all the master shit, I literally just ignore that shit, because we ain't getting into that. You're right when it comes to it being pointless. It's absolutely pointless to get into that. So I pretty much ignored that. I forgot he even said that shit.
I think it's important that at times where we can stop making everything black versus white, and we can actually talk about things that are impacting America, that we just do it.
Like,
I
Candace,
think
you keep
it's okay.
talking about everything wrong with black people.
Well, we're not here, but Jeff.
You have started and led with everything
I'm saying regarding
wrong with black people.
Hold on. This is what accountability sounds like to him, because she's trying to figure out some solutions for the black community, and this is what he took it as.
America, that we just do it. Like,
Candace,
I think
you
it's
keep
okay.
talking about everything wrong with black people.
Well, we're not.
Kill the masters is a figure of speech, but if we're not going to get specific about it, then we're wasting our time.
Here, but Jeff.
You have started and led with everything
I'm saying regarding
wrong with black people.
gerrymandering, I don't think that's a black or white issue. I really don't. So
The
that's my
issue
answer.
is that
But we
it may not be a black or white issue, but it's absolutely a black issue for us, right? So this room wants to know how, your question I'm hearing is how the census count impacts our people.
And what we can do to ensure that it impacts us positively.
I think with the quick points are that, number one, there is a narrative that has been basically created by propaganda that tells you that we shouldn't be counted. That when people come to your door to count you, you may be arrested, and all of these different fear-mongering tactics that is going to try to keep us from participating in the census. The danger of that is that what comes out of the census is how resources are distributed in your local community. So not participating in the census is not going to be the boogeyman strategy for everyone else. I think Candace's point is right, that it becomes the black or white issue when the resources go to the white community because they have convinced us that we should not do the work in our communities. The reality is that no one is going to suppress or try to suppress a vote or a count if they don't understand the power of it. So anything that people are telling you you should not participate participate in, especially folks from what we consider to be the other side. When they are trying to tell you that you should not participate in something, you always have to question, why is it that white folks are getting counted in their communities, that they are voting in the ways in which they should, and our communities are being told not to participate?
Because the illegals are flooding the black community.
The illegals are
all right, you all. So I want to hear from you all.
I don't agree with that.
I want to hear from you all. We got a mic right here.
Well, okay. So first of all, when we start to speak about politics, the first thing I want to make sure everybody understands about TIP. It's, in my eyes, it's not about Republican. It's not about Democrat. It's about decent people who have a genuine interest to fulfill the need of the people that look like me. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I feel. Like, if you know that the educational system is subpar in Atlanta or wherever it is, then okay, and I have children. My children go to school. I don't want the education system to be subpar. So I'm gonna vote on the person who has a strong education initiative, period. It's not about voting for people because I'm black and they're Democrat, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Candace, much to your dismay, that's not how I feel. That's not how I choose a candidate. I choose, for one, people who I feel are decent. Two, people who I feel are honest. Three, people who I feel are educated and who are experienced and who can actually follow through with doing the shit they stand on TV and say. But I think that everybody on this panel, all of you are brilliant. All of us have ideas that could benefit one another. And I think that what Mike said was absolutely correct. If we can get in a room, you know what I'm saying? I think Candace has a problem with the crowds cheering for me and booing to her. And that's not my fault. That's not my intention.
I didn't say that.
Yes, you did. You said I'm going for
No, I said I don't like when you go for gotcha moments. Because
gotcha moments.
Like
that
when
means...
you're like, oh, well, you started with some bullshit. Like, actually, let me get to what I was going to say, because what I was going to say is what Killer Mike said.
All right, well, okay,
so when
listen,
you're trying
I'm
to just hype people and you actually don't, we're all losing when you do something like that. Everybody loses when you go for a gotcha. I know how if you want to hype a crowd, oh, it's bullshit, it's racism,
Candace,
it's
sister.
Trump, get on.
Yo, T.I. has an issue with he gets very handsy in these situations. Remember the situation with that comic at the Comedy Store where he was like hugging her against her will and he kept touching her and doing stuff when they got into a contentious moment? Like, why is his hand all over her chair?
On your feet. Fuck this. We gotta stand up. We gotta do our shit. We gotta do what we gotta do.
Round
with
of
black
applause
people.
for Candace,
That's
please.
a waste of time.
Yo, real shit, you would have made a great fucking rapper.
I really would have.
Yo,
Yeah.
let me say, we got 1 minute though.
Now, I've been peeping the comment section. I haven't been saying anything, and that's why I said it's pointless to even go into this conversation. And there's one thing that Chronic Introvert just said in his last comment. He just said, I hope y'all understand what he said. It's not like I get what our solutions were saying. It was a victim mindset, but one thing we did learn through COVID is there's that I'm not even saying shit because I did a pretty decent job of keeping this in a monetizable zone. I spoke about this in other live streams. I'm not taking the L on this one. I'm trying to keep this in the green, but we will talk about that in another live stream because I've spoken about it before. How they just get away with all sorts of fuckery, but I'm not going to do it to this live stream. Not going to do it. Shit. This one, there was a lot here. There was a lot of points to break down in this one. I didn't think T.I. brought anything productive to the table to keep it a stack. I think he was kind of just running off with a bunch of nonsensical fuckery, whereas Candace Owens and Killer Mike actually had some good things to say, some insightful things to say and bring to the table during this Revolt Summit. But this culminates in nothing, actually. No one was on the same page. Nothing forward got moved. Like, nothing happened out of this. This was just an hour and a half of entertainment on Revolt. Sitting down, talking about black issues. Whoever needed to be educated on some of these black issues from this, that may have helped them, but for the most part, like, these things all look good. They all, this summit, we're coming and we're discussing things, but nothing comes from any of this shit. Hopefully that in the future, some of these summits, there's actually some conclusion. There's actually some forward progress. Not gotcha moments to bring back to YouTube. But who knows? Yo, the comment section. Yo, our problems. Yo. Yeah, y'all are gonna get me to say some fucked up shit that I'm trying to avoid. I'm really trying to avoid this shit right now. Damn, I'm not good at censoring myself. I'm really trying so hard. I'm trying so hard to even think of a way to just code it. I'm bad at censoring myself. It needs to come out raw or it's not coming out. We're going to wrap this one up. We have another live stream tonight. We definitely going to be back. We definitely coming back for I want to talk about the what the fuck is next again?
Stop it. Get some help.
The Lante West situation. Want to talk about that. And we have a bunch of other things we need to cover tonight. So we're definitely going to come back with another stream. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell to be up on all the shows because we got a lot to talk about. But we're going to wrap this one up. TG says, let's move on. We moving out. It's done. We ain't moving on to nothing. This is it.
We're in a different era. Get over it. Whoa!
Shout out to everybody in the chat. Keeping the show alive. And not too much to add here for the most part. I think that Candace Owens brought a lot to the table in this discussion. I think that T.I. brought nothing. She was actually right about the things she said in the Akademiks interview. It is what it is. She went a little far in calling him a fraud and saying he has small man syndrome. He has exhibited some of that small man syndrome. He has put it on display, especially when it came to his little spat in comedy. But yep, we're gonna wrap this one up. Shout out to y'all. We out. Yeah.